welcome to another video. My name's Cori Jaye and I'll be your teacher today. In today's video, we are going to make a little robot desk friend. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, this is a little guy that I made. And as you can see, I made him out of using the marbleized paper that we created in last class. So you're going to want to make sure that you have some of that paper ready so that we can go ahead and make this little robot. Now, supplies that you're going to need for this class, you're going to need some of the marbleized paper that we created together last class, and then just a couple other supplies. So you're going to need some glue. You're going to need a ruler. So a small one works well, but even if you have a normal size ruler, any ruler that you have will do. And then you're also going to need a pair of scissors. Now, to create the robot's body, I've created these templates that I have attached. So they look like this. There's a template for the head and the body of the robot. And then there's also a template for the legs. So you're going to go ahead and print those off. So you're going to need a printer to print those off, but you just want to print them off in black and white. There's no color to them. And then we're going to use those as templates to make the robot's body and legs. Now, one more thing that you might want to consider is any extra supplies that you want to use to make the robot your own. So my robot today has a heart on it. It has googly eyes that I found at the dollar store and some pipe cleaners as a little antenna. But you can personalize your robot to make it more personal to you and make it your own. So you want to think of any extra supplies that you might have laying around that you can do that with. Now you can also add details using other marbleized paper that we created, so you can use that. Or if you have extra supplies that you want to add to your robot to make it your own, then go ahead and grab those too. One thing that might be kind of interesting on the robot is some tinfoil. So you can add some tinfoil to the robot's body or legs just to make it look a little bit more robotic. Okay, so now that you have your supplies, let's get into the video. Okay, we're going to use these awesome marbled papers that we made last class, and you're just going to go ahead and grab one. So this one's going to be the body of the robot. So you're going to go ahead and grab the printout that has the head and the body, and we're going to use the bigger one for the body here. And we're going to start by cutting out that template. So you just want to cut around it and be fairly precise for your cutting. So you want to cut all the way around it and right up to the outline of the black line here. Now, once you have it cut out, you're going to take your marbleized paper and turn it over, and we're going to place the template on the back, and we're going to go around the outline of the template with a pencil. So you just want to trace the entire outline of it all the way around using your pencil and make sure you get the whole thing on there. And again, you want to be as precise as possible. So when you're making your outline, go right up to the lines of the template here. Okay, so once you have that on there, next we're going to go through and we're going to grab a ruler and we're going to add in all the lines that were missed. So all the lines on the inside. So we're going to start by adding this line in here and the next line, and you're going to add in all the lines on the inside of the template and just connect them with the ruler. We're also going to add in all the lines for the tabs that are missing. And so you just want to use the template beside you here as your guide and just add in all the lines that are on the inside of this template. Now, when you're doing this, you want to be as precise as possible too, because these are going to be fold lines for us when we move forward on to the next stage of the project. So just make sure that you get every line in there that's on the template. And then when you're done, it should look like this. So you have your marbleized side and then the back side with the template on it. Then you want to put the template aside and you're going to grab some scissors. And you want to go ahead and cut this out. So once again, when you're cutting it out, make sure to cut just around the outline and be as precise as possible. And then you'll end up with something that looks like this. Marbleized on one side and then the template on the other side. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to grab a ruler here and we're going to score it. So scoring makes a little mark in the paper where you can then fold the paper over. Now, when you score the paper, you're not cutting the paper, you're just making a little indent so that it's easier to fold over. So you're just using light pressure to make a little indent in the paper, and you're not going through completely like you would with scissors. Just a little light score across it so that you can then fold it. So you're going to score every single line on the inside and fold inwards every single tab. So you're going to fold towards the inside of the paper. And this is going to create a box. So the marbled side of the paper is going to be the outside of the box. And then after we score all these lines and fold them inwards, the template on the inside will be hidden inside the box, so we won't see it. So you're going to go through and fold everything. So I'm just going ahead and folding these tabs, everything towards the inside here. And then as you can see, when you start to form the tabs and move the tabs up, it forms a little box. So we're going to go ahead and make sure everything is folded in. Now we missed scoring the last couple, so we're just going to do that. I'm going to score this tab, fold it in, and then the bottom couple, one here, fold it in, and then this side here, score it lightly, and then fold it in. And then once everything is folded in, you can form the little box that we're going to make, which will look just like this. So everything should fit together and it creates this 3D box like this. And it's really beautiful because it has that paper on the outside that we painted, and then the inside will all be hidden. So next we're going to go ahead and grab our glue, and we're going to glue the two tabs. So we're going to glue these two tabs at the top here, and then these two tabs in the middle here. So we're going to put a line of glue on each tab, and then we're going to start to form our box. Now this part can be a little bit tricky because you're going to have some patience waiting for the glue to set. So we're going to start with these two sets of tabs here. And then once you have your glue on, we're going to fold those two up just like this, and then the other two sides to meet. So you'll see that the top of the box is still free flowing there, freestanding, but these parts I'm gluing down. Now the glue is not going to stick right away. So what you need to do is place the tabs onto the side that they're being glued on. And then you're going to need to hold the box together in that position for a few minutes while the glue sets. So I'm going to put this tab down and the other tab down, and then I'm going to hold the box in that position once everything is attached, and you have to hold it there and allow the glue to set. So this is by far the trickiest part. So you're going to want to grab a rag. Like I always have a rag around to wipe off any excess glue that's oozing out anywhere or getting on your fingers. But once you have it together here and the glue's on, this is where the hard part comes because patience is necessary and I don't have that much patience. So this part was a little difficult for me, but what you want to do is you want to hold it together here. So hold the sides together for 1 to 2 minutes while the glue sets. So you basically just want to hold it and not move for a few minutes, and that glue will set. Now once you're done, you'll see that the glue is set here. I'm going to go ahead and add glue to the last 3 tabs, and then I'm going to fold in the little top tab here. So I'm going to fold in the top tab carefully so glue doesn't get anywhere, and then I'm going to press down on the other 2 sides that I glued on the top here. So I'm going to fold everything in, make sure everything's together. run my finger across where I want the glue to set there. And then I just turned it over a little bit here. And again, this is where the tricky part is. You want to hold the sides together for 1 and 2 minutes while the glue sets, and be as patient as you can. And then once it's set, you'll have a little box like this, and this will be your robot body. Next, we're going to work on the head. So you're going to grab a different color piece of paper and the template for the robot head here, and then we're going to go ahead and repeat the same steps. So the first step is to cut out the template. So we're going to go ahead and cut everything out and be as careful as possible. And then once you have it cut out, again, you're going to turn the paper over. So we're going to put the pretty side down, the painted side down. We're going to place the template onto the paper here, and then we're going to trace it. Now, one thing that I didn't mention before is when you're tracing it, you want to hold down the template with one hand really firmly so it doesn't move around at all while you're tracing it. So just make sure that you hold it down pretty firmly so it doesn't move anywhere, so that your box trace here is very accurate. Because again, we want to make sure that when we fold it together, everything fits. And if you're not accurate with your drawing, it might not fit together perfectly, the box. So now that we have the box drawn on, we're going to go ahead and draw on all the lines on the center. So basically just connecting some of the lines that we didn't connect when we were doing the outline. Make sure you get all the tabs too. And then it should look like this. And then we're going to go ahead and cut it out. Be as accurate as possible when you cut it out so that everything will fit together nicely when we start to fold it. And then once it's all cut out, it'll look like this. So very similar to the body, but a little bit smaller. You can see on the other side, it's all beautiful. And then we have our template side. And then you're going to go ahead and grab a ruler and go ahead and we'll do our scoring. So again, we're going to score all the lines on the inside here and fold them towards the inside. And you want to be light-handed with the scoring. You don't want to cut the paper. You just want to make a mark so that it creates a clean fold. And you're going to do that for all of the lines on the inside of the template here. And then you can fold your little box together and make sure everything fits nicely. So just fold everything together and then you have a little box, which is awesome. So this will be the head of the robot. So next we want to go through and we want to add our glue. So next we want to fold in the inside of this tab here and this tab here. I'm going to just do 2 at a time here instead of all 4. So I'm going to do this bottom half first. So these 2 bottom tabs, we'll start with those. And we're going to fold them over and place them onto the other side of the box. Then I'm going to take my finger on the inside here and just push them down onto the box. Just pressing the glue onto the box here. And remember, the glue is not going to hold until you give it some time to set. So I'm just going to press my finger on here and make sure that I have the glue everywhere I want it on both sides here. And then I'm going to put it down and make sure I get my sides into place. And I'm going to take 2 fingers on the inside here and just hold it down. So you want to make sure the sides line up properly on the outside. And again, you can grab your rag there to take off any excess glue that come onto your fingers. But once you have the sides lined up well, then comes in the patience part. So I'm going to put it down here, and then I'm going to go and put 2 fingers down right onto those 2 sides that I want to set. And then we're going to hold the sides together for 1 to 2 minutes while the glue sets. And we're going to be as patient as possible. And then after that, you'll see that the glue sets nicely and you can go ahead and do the other side. So I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side. I'm going to put the glue on the two little tabs here. I'm going to fold up the top, and then I'm going to hold. Now, once you have all the sides together except the top, the last step is to do the top. But before we do that, we're going to make two little holes on the top for where our antennae go. So I'm going to use a pencil here, and I'm just going to make two little marks here. So you can see there's two little dots there, and this is going to be easier for me to make the holes when I use my scissors. Then I'm going to go in with the scissors and just twist the end of the scissor onto the hole. And that should create a little hole that's very tiny but still punctures the paper. And then I'm going to take my pipe cleaner and pop it through. And if it goes through, then you've made the hole good. So mine fit through nicely. And if you don't have a pipe cleaner, you could roll up a little piece of tinfoil and use that instead for the antennae. I just happen to have a pipe cleaner handy. Now that I have the two holes in, I'm going to go ahead and close up the top of the box. So I'm going to bend in the last tabs a little bit, and then I'm going to add in some glue on all of the last tabs. So the two on the sides here, and then the one on the top. And then I'm going to carefully fold everything together. Again, it's always nice to have that rag because this does get a little bit messy with the glue. And just press the sides down everywhere, and then we'll hold it. We're going to hold it until it dries. And then once it's dry, I'm going to go ahead and make a little heart shape on the top of the antenna here. So I'm just bending the antenna into a little heart shape because I want my robot to be a little bit of a loving robot. So I'm going to make the antennae little heart shapes, but you can always make a little ball at the top of the antenna. It doesn't have to be a heart. I just thought a heart would be fun. And then I'm going to cut the pipe cleaner here, and then I'm going to pop it into the top here. Actually, I'm going to make the second one first. So I'll make the second pipe cleaner for the second antenna. Again, by just making a little M, a little V shape with the top of the pipe cleaner to create that little heart. I'm going to make sure that they're the same length here. Awesome. Just cut them with the scissors and then pop them into the top. Now I didn't add glue here, but you could add glue if you wanted to make it a little bit more stable. Mine fit in really nicely without glue, so yeah, I thought that was super cute as a little top to the antenna head here. Nice little touch, but feel free to make yours your own. Okay, so next we're going to do the same thing with the legs. So basically we're going to cut out the template just like we've done. Now you actually need to cut out one of these templates because they're the same. You're going to go ahead and trace them onto a new piece of paper here onto the back. You're going to trace two of them because we need two legs, but you can use the same template for both of the legs. And then you're going to go through and draw your lines on in the center, just like we did on the head and the body. Make sure you get all the tabs there. And then once you have both the legs, we're going to go through and cut them out. So this is the last part of the body here. We're going to go ahead and score them, just like we did. So scoring every single line here, folding it in, and then we're going to go and do the same type of gluing process. Here I'm going to do both at the same time again, like I did the first time. All four of these first tabs here. I'm going to go ahead and fold it together. And then once you're done gluing all the sections, you have one leg. Then we're going to do the same thing again. So I have a second leg here, and that's going to be the legs to the robot. So now I have the body, the head, and two legs for my robot here. And they look just like this. They should all stack nicely. The head should be a little bit smaller than the body, and the legs should pop out a little bit further than the body. And then we're ready to move on. So next I'm going to grab two pieces that I cut the body and the head out of, and I'm going to line them up on one side so they line up, and I'm going to cut a strip all the way down. So the strip is going to be about 1/2 centimeter thick. I'm just going to make sure that I hold the two together here and I can cut the strip as equally as I can all the way down. So I'm going to cut two strips, and then I'm going to go ahead and line the papers up again, and I'm going to do this exact same thing again with the exact same width. So again, I'm going to go for 1/2 inch here, and I'm going to cut the strip all the way down again, all the way through both papers that I've layered on top of each other here. Just want to be careful not to cut your fingers here. And then we're going to create some arms for the robot. So we're going to take two of those strips and we're going to glue one to the back of the other, and then we're going to fold them over the top. So I'm going to grab a little bit of glue here. I'm going to put a tiny bit on one side here, and I'm going to glue a strip to the back. So I did it so both of the insides are touching here. So I'm going to hold it down for a sec, and then I'm going to start to fold one paper over the next. And you basically just go back and forth, folding one paper over the other side, pressing down and making a little crease until you get to the end of the papers. So just keep folding them over each other, one side and then the next side and then the next side, all the way until you get to the end. And this is going to create a bit of like an accordion arm for our robot, and it's going to look really fun. Now, once I get to the end here, my papers aren't exact. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to cut off the excess, but you can see it creates a little kind of accordion shape, which is really nice. So here at the top, there's a little bit extra here. So I'm going to go through and grab my scissors. And then I'm just going to cut off the excess. So I'm going to cut off the excess here. And then I have a nice even shape here. And then I'm going to grab the glue and I'm going to make one more dot onto the end here. And then I'm going to glue the last two pieces together. So I'm going to hold it down and glue the last two pieces together. Make sure the glue doesn't ooze out everywhere and glue together parts that you don't want glued together. So just try and press together those bottom two there that have the glue on them. And maybe leave it for a sec again so the glue will set. And then as you can see, we have our first little arm for the robot. So now that we've done that once, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing again. So we're going to start by gluing the insides of the paper together here, wiping off the excess on a rag, going through and folding one paper over the other paper, over and over here until you get to the end. Almost there. There we go. And then once you get to the end here, you have your accordion shape started. You're going to cut off the excess paper here. We're going to put a little bit of glue on the end, and then we have both arms. So now that I have all my parts, I added in a couple little googly eyes here. I cut some little foot shapes there that you can see there that I'm going to add on to the end of the legs. And I cut out a little mouth, and I cut out a little heart as well. And I cut out all these pieces except for the googly eyes just from the marbleized paper that we created here. So I'm just going to take some glue and glue on all these extra little pieces. So I want my robot friend to be smiling. So I have a little smile here that I added on. And this is where you can really make it your own. So you really want to go through here and start to decorate the robot and add any extra little pieces or extra little flair or anything that you want to add to the robot to make it your own. This is the time to do it. So as you can see, I cut out these little foot shapes, which are basically just little ovals, and I'm going to glue them onto the end of the legs. And these create some nice little feet for the robot. I just did these with paper, so they're just a plain little piece of paper here with the marbleized paper and then create these really cute feet that go on the ends here. And you can also do this with the hands. I never did this with the hands, I just did it with the feet, but you can add little hands on to the end of the little squiggly arms there. So I'm going to add the second foot here. And really just anything that you think would be fun. Use your creativity and create some different kind of shapes. You can add those on. Here would be a good time to add on some tinfoil to the robot in different shapes and patterns if you want to. You could use glue for that as well. I'm going to grab this little heart that I made and glue this on here for the robot. Just going to use my glue here and add some on there. And just kind of assemble everything together. Now you might have to do our patience kind of technique here where you add something on and then you hold it for a sec so the glue sets. But this Elmer's glue is the best glue for attaching things. It dries really strong and holds really well. You just have to be a little bit patient with it while it sets. So don't let that kind of discourage you in this project. Just give it some time, everything you add. So I'm going to go ahead and add the arms, and also make sure you have a hefty amount of glue that you're adding just to give it that really strong bond. If you don't use enough glue, something might pop off and it can get frustrating. So now that I have everything together, I just need to assemble my main parts of the robot. So I'm going to figure out what position I'm going to want these legs in and what position I want to glue them to the body in. So I'm just figuring that out right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the same glue that we use for the entire project, the white Elmer's glue here. And I'm going to use that and I'm going to glue all the pieces together. So I'm going to use the same glue for the legs and for the head and glue everything together. So I think I like this for the legs. So I'm going to go ahead and add some glue here just where the legs are attaching to the body, not all the way up. And then I'm going to go through and place the body on and just be careful. Press down lightly so that everything is attached. And then I just want to give this a little bit to set properly. So don't move it too much after you do that because you want to make sure that the glue will set. And you don't even have to have pressure on it for it to set, just leave it for a sec. I'm going to add the head on while I wait here. So same thing, just add quite a bit of glue, pop it on, and then give it some time to set. And then you're done. I added a little heart scepter here to my robot friend, but that's it. That's something that you can create just out of paper. A nice little 3D desk friend, and it looks great. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this project and you enjoyed making a little robot desk friend. I really wanted this project to give you some ideas and examples of things that you could do with the marbleized paper that we created. So you can obviously create a little 3D object like this, or you can go ahead and create some cards and give them to your friends. That's it for today's video, and I can't wait to see what you guys create. Make sure you post some pictures in the discussion, and we'll see you in the next class. Bye!